Hello, my name is Philip Pham, and I'm going to be covering some main topics in Chapter 5, Ethics in International Business. For today's agenda, we're going to talk about what are ethics, common ethical issues in business, and utilitarian and Kantian ethics. Ethics are accepted principles of right or wrong that govern the conduct of a person, the members of a profession, and the actions of an organization. In other words, ethics could be seen as moral codes. Business ethics are accepted principles of right or wrong governing the conduct of business people. And finally, ethical strategy is a strategy or course of action that does not violate these accepted principles. So next we're going to talk about some common ethical issues in business. Some employment practices, human rights, environmental regulations, corruption, and moral obligation of multinational companies. Employment practices, so working conditions. You can look at it as how suitable is the working area for each employee. Are they comfortable? Are they able to do their work properly? An example would be in third world countries that have sweatshops. The sweatshops will try to fit in as many workers as possible, and each employee has to work in a cramped space with little mobility room. Labor laws in developed countries, like in the United States, we have labor laws where employees are only required to work 8-hour days, and if the employee goes over 8-hour days, the employer is required to pay that employee overtime. In third world countries that have sweatshops, they often employ the workers to work long 12-hour days with little pay, and they don't even get overtime to work for those long hours. On top of that, many times they also have children working in the sweatshops as well. Over in the United States, we have child labor laws where you have to follow strict rules and you can't employ children under the age of 16 to join the working force. Human rights. In third world countries, many people don't have basic human rights that we do in developed nations. Some examples are freedom, equality, and justice. And many of these basic human rights that are available in developed countries are taken for granted, and we don't realize how lucky we are that we even have basic human rights. Environmental regulations. Developed nations have very strict rules about pollution, dumping of chemicals, and using toxic chemicals in the workplace. In third world countries, there aren't many regulations to protect the environment. Corruption. Businesses are able to gain economic advantages through corruption. An example would be bribery, where a business. And finally, we have moral obligation. With power comes social responsibility to give something back to the societies that enables the businesses to prosper and grow. Utilitarian ethics and Kantian ethics. Utilitarian ethics are moral worth of actions or practices is determined by their consequences. In Kantian ethics, people should be treated as ends and never purely as means to the ends of others. An example of utilitarian ethics would be Monsanto, an agricultural biotechnology company, must decide whether the benefits of genetically modified crops that produce natural pesticides outweigh the risk. It'll increase crop yields and reduce the need for chemical fertilizers, but there's a chance that the insects will evolve and develop a resistance to the natural pesticides that were engineered. So in this case, they need to decide if increasing the crop yield outweighs the benefit of having insects develop a resistance for the natural pesticide. For Kantian ethics, we should see people have dignity and need to be respected as such. A violation of Kantian ethics would be employing people in sweatshops and making them work long hours for low pay and poor working conditions. These were some of the main topics that were covered in Chapter 5. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and good luck on your exams. Thank you.